Welcome into the PFF 2-Minute Drill, the Monday edition of the 2-Minute Drill. I'm Austin Gale with my guys, Kevin Cole and Steve Palazzolo, subbing in for Mike Renner, who's on a beach somewhere, I'm sure. We're going to start with this. Ideal destinations for Jamal Adams. You saw him screaming out of his Jeep that he's trying to get to Dallas. Is that the best spot for him, Kev?
Hey, you coming to Dallas? All right.
I think it's one of the top spots. I mean, if you look at what he talked about the top teams in the NFL, and I think those make the most sense. That's where a safety coming in is really going to have that impact to get a good team to be a great team. I'm not going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to go with division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're sixth right now in cap space available. They have Jalen Mills, who they re-signed to play that strong safety role, but it's a $4 million contract. It's a one-year deal. Bring in Jamal Adams. He's a foundational player. They have a lot of them, but they've also been very creative with the cap. So I think that they can keep under in the next few years, give up some trade assets, and really make that push right now because this is their Super Bowl window.
Let's be serious about Jamal Adams. He's a good fit absolutely everywhere because he is that good. He can play the run. He can cover at any level of the field. And if you want to deploy him as a pass rusher slash blitzer, he's got that too. But I think Dallas is a great fit both short and long term. They need playmakers on defense now, and 4/5 of their secondary, that's right, 5 starters, 4/5, they're all going to be free agents at the end of the year. So I think Jamal Adams, you get him to Dallas, you lock him up. They need building blocks for the future in Dallas, and then they can use him wisely all over the field. The #1 coverage grade as a free safety over the last 3 years. He could play anywhere and do it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are both great fits, but I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Don Wink Martindale sent defensive backs at the quarterback at the highest rate in the NFL last year, and no safety has more pressure since 2017 than Jamal Adams. He rushes the passer well. He's a 3-level defender, and they continue to invest on the back end. I know Baltimore fans want Chuck Clark to see the football field, but if you can trade Chuck Clark for Jamal Adams, that defensive backfield becomes that much better.
Okay, flipping over to the offensive side of the ball, this year in fantasy football, a lot of people are questioning some of the top wide receivers. They see a lot of risk there. So what I want to know from you, Steve, is when you look at those top names, who do you think has the highest chance to disappoint this season?
Listen, everybody's talking about how the trade for the Arizona Cardinals getting a Nuke Hopkins was the steal of the offseason. And I agree, it was. But I think from a fantasy standpoint, the concerns should be real. We're talking about a Cardinals offense that loves to spread it out. 3 wide receivers, and they used 4 wide receivers more than any other team in the NFL last year. And then you have Kyler Murray, who is excellent throwing the ball outside the numbers. I think him and Nuke, they'll get along just fine there. But Hopkins is at his best also working the middle of the field on slants, on dig routes, making those tough catches over the middle. Kyler Murray is not nearly as efficient throwing over the middle of the field, and I think between that and the fact that offense likes to spread the ball around to multiple playmakers might make Hopkins really valuable for real football, but maybe less valuable for fantasy football.
I'm probably going to get ripped to pieces for this, but I'm going with Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin. I know the fantasy football community is in love with him, but I'll tell you this right now. His best play in the NFL has been from the slot. And if Tampa Bay does run a lot of 12 personnel like we're expecting, he's going to see more reps outside and more reps against press. Fewer than 30% of his routes have come against press, and his yards per route run differential, 0.6 yards, first press and first non-press. This guy is going to see different level of cornerbacks in 2020. He's going to see a different speed in the NFL, different physicality. I don't know if he's going to be able to have the same production as he did this past year if he's playing more outside.
Well, I'll start the shredding right here, Austin, and I'll say it's not going to be Godwin. It's going to be his teammate, Mike Evans, and the reason is the fit. Now, the fit with Tom Brady, maybe he can have a resurgence. He can start throwing the deep ball a lot. But, Evans is not someone who gets open. Godwin's going to occupy the middle of the field where he likes to throw it. Evans was third amongst receivers with at least 100 targets as far as his ADOT, his average depth of target. Godwin was way back 26, which is right in that range where Brady wants. So I think he's going to have trouble connecting with Evans on those big plays this year, as opposed to the last few years with someone like Jameis Winston or Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's willing to throw those YOLO balls up to the big Mike Evans wide receiver.
You guys might both be right. Not enough footballs to go around in Tampa Bay. Let's wrap it up with this. Deebo Samuel, San Francisco 49ers, outstanding wide receiver / just all-around ball carrier. He's banged up. He might be missing a little bit of the season. So who needs to step up with Deebo injured, whether it's just for a few games or even on the PUP list?
This might be a cop-out answer, but I'm going Jimmy Garoppolo. This past year, he ranked 4th in most passing yards gained after the catch. Names above him, Teddy Bridgewater, Mason Rudolph, and Derek Carr. He relied on his pass catchers to make plays after the catch. And regardless who steps up for Deebo Samuel, whether it's Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Hurd, Dante Pettis, they're not going to be as good as Deebo Samuel after the catch, and that's going to hurt Jimmy G. He's got to push the ball downfield, lean on weapons that create separation 10, 15-plus yards down the football field to have success early on without Deebo.
Now, I do like some of those wide receivers, and specifically I like Jalen Hurd because he profiles as a similar player. He's a guy who can create some yards after the catch. He's a former running back who can also take that share of the end arounds and the rushing attempts that Deebo Samuel had. And he was promising coming into the league last year as a third-round pick. He got injured after a good camp, so he's really going to step in, and I think he has the upside there. It's going to be tough for a rookie like Brandon Ayuk in his first season, and guys like Kendrick Bourne, we're going into their fourth year. I just don't see a breakout for them at this point. So Hurd's going to be the guy that I'm looking for.
Yeah, Kev, I have all the same reasons, but I do think Brandon Ayuk would be the guy that needs to step up. It will be a big challenge, though, for a rookie without all of the offseason to get up to speed. But that is almost a clone of a skill set for what they have in Deebo Samuel. Ayuk averaged almost 10 yards after the catch per reception last year. That is absolutely incredible. Though Niners are not, they're just getting all of these similar types of receivers from Jalen Hurd to Deebo Samuel, but Ayuk is the next in line. They loved him. They're going to put the ball in his hands in space, and they're going to need that early on, especially if Deebo can't go.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.